right? That we'll discuss. Okay. So let's first discuss about this incident management. Okay, just quickly share my screen. Hope it is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, the this is a very critical questions. So interviewer can ask these questions with multiple ways, right? And definitely 110% this question will be asked. Okay. So question could be like, do you know about like incident? Okay. Or maybe if you say yes, so do you know about the service request? And do you know about the access request? What are the difference between this? So in short, you need to explain this. And if this particularly ask about the incident, and how do you manage the incident? What is the life cycle of an incident? Okay. How do you, resolve the tickets till the closures, right? They can ask this type of questions, right? Which method you follow to, to resolve the issues, to resolve the incidents, right? So it's a theoretically basically, but it is very important one. Okay. Because in this, what is the SLA they can ask, right? What are the priorities you follow, right? What is the difference between, multiple categories and why do we, set the categories, right? So this type of question interview can ask. How do you escalate that, right? How do you diagnose that? How do you troubleshoot that, right? What difference between multiple priorities, right? So these multiple questions, right? You need to prepare. The answer is simple one. Okay. So you need to simply say, sir, yes, sir, I worked on the incident management, so I have very good experience on that. So basically, I'll try to explain you that, how I work. So if interview asks that, you can take one example, okay, one incident issues which you have resolved, and just explain me, the entire life cycle of that incident. How did you, step by step, how did you resolve that till the closure? Okay. So yes, sir, I'll take one example about the for example, network issues, right? So basically, the users have user can raise a ticket, so they can call us, or they can, a chat, they can connect us via chat. They can also send in emails with their issues. Okay. So, for example, if I get a call from the, any users, and he says that he is not able to access the internet. So it is, if you are not able to access the internet means it's a very generic statement. I can also say, sir, I am not able to I'm not able to access the internet. But what do you mean by that? Means your internet is not working. But user are very less technical, right? So we need to probe the users. We need to ask some certain questions because we are a technical guy, right? So we need to ask them that, can you, sir, tell me the exact things like what is not working in the internet? Exactly. What you're trying to open, any website or anything, any application. Then interviewer says here, yes, that I am opening, the any websites, any organization websites, ABC websites, or maybe Infosys or HCL or anything, TCS, website, tcs.com. But my internet is not working, right? So yes, then this could be a real incident. So you need to ask, sir, when it was the last time that it worked, right? So did the interviewer say, sorry, I mean, yes, definitely interviewer says that yes, in the morning, yes, it was working and now it is not working. Okay. I mean the user, right? Not interviewer, user. Then, then this could be a real incident because it was working earlier. Now it is not working. So the incident itself, the definition says, right, the sudden interruption or the degradation in any IT services. I'm repeating, sudden interruption and the degradation in any IT services is called incident. Correct. So now this will be a real incident. If user would have said that I am able to open my office websites, but I'm not able to open my LinkedIn. I'm not able to open my Facebook, not able to open my this one, YouTube, right? Then you need to tell to the interviewer, sorry, the users that yes, sir, that for these websites you need to take a permissions, you need to take a access of this, right? Or simply you can take a remote session and you can ping, if you are able to take a remote session means their internet is working, correct? If their Teams is working fine, right, then definitely internet is working fine, correct? But he is not able to access that websites which are restricted for him. So you need to tell, sir, for this you need to open one ticket in the category of access request, website access request, right? This is the category for this. And then you will get the, it required some approval from your manager, and then you will get the access. Okay. And for an example, now this will close in this, right? It will close in the identification only, this one, correct? Now, if it is a real incident, so the first thing is that we need to log the incident. We need to start creating the tickets. Log means register the incident. How do you register it? Right? When we have a remedy portal, right? Where we need to register this. We have to create a tickets. Okay. So in the tickets, what all things we need to mention? That same user's name, right? Their email ID and all, right? And their details, users details like address, when they will be available, what is the issue we have, right? These basic details we need to log. And after that, we have a categorization. What is that categorization? Incident categorization. So categorization means simply, remember the four or five categories. The one is hardware, second one is software, third one is network, right? Then we have some security as well, right? Then we have some operating system is again the category. Then we have, then we have this categories, right? Software, hardware, network, security. Then we have operating system. This is also in category. Then we have what we called softwares installation. That is also in category, right? Then we have in hardware we have multiple subcategories. So you can also define this. For example, laptop. Laptop is very generic because inside laptop there are multiple things. Hardware, software, right? Network, security. Inside laptop also you have it, right? And then in hardware, what type of hardware? Keyboard, touchpad, monitor, screen, camera, right? Multiple things is there, right? Then after categorizations, right? We need to prioritize that. We need to prioritize that. What is that priorities? Now here is the very important part. What it is? So we have basically four types of priorities in our organizations. We follow four type priorities. The P1, P2, P3 and P4. P1 stands for P priority one. They are aware. Okay, so do not tell the abbreviation for each priorities, right? Simply, but yes, you can tell, sir. P4 is the low priority. P3 is the medium priority. P2 is the high priority, and P1 is the critical priority. And you can also tell nowadays we have P0 priority as well, which is super critical. Okay, but sir, I haven't worked on this. You can simply say. But being as a service desk engineer, I only work on P4 priority. You need to tell, being as a service desk engineer, I only work on P4 priority. Okay, so P4 means the single user. So you need to also explain the priority levels and definitions. You can always take example of 100 users. For example, sir, in my organization, 100 users are there, and out of 100, one user is having an issue in his laptop. This would be a P4 because the impact is very low. That is the reason it is a low priority. If out of 100, for an example, 5 to 10 people are impacted with the network issues or other issues, right? So this could be a medium priority. But the issue should be same. See, remember these things, right? You are explaining this that in you on daily basis you resolve 10 tickets. So now interviewer may ask 10 means like it is a medium priority, you resolve it in a medium priority or the low priority. No, sir, like it's a low priority. Why? Because every user, I mean, they are the different users and they have the different issues. One is for Outlook, one have raised a ticket for Outlook, one has raised for VPN issues, one has raised for this. network issues, right? So these are the different issues. So that is the reason it is a low priority. But if the users comes to us, for example, 10 users, and they said that we are not able to access the internet in the same project, same things, same issues, then this would be a low medium priority, right? So this is a medium priority. After that, out of 100, if 30, 40, or 50 people are impacted, so this would be a high priority because it impacts the production, it impacts the business, right? There would be a revenue losses, profit losses, right? So in this situation, this would be a P2 priority, right? And then comes to P1. If out of 100, 70, 80, 90 people or 100 people are impacted, then this would be a P1 priority, which is a critical one, right? Then you also need to explain the SLA. For P4, sir, there are two types of SLA, response SLA and resolution SLA. For P4, we have 1 day of response SLA and 3 days of resolution SLA. For P3, we have, 7 hours, or sorry, yes, 7 hours or 12 hours, you can say, right? 12 hours of response. I'm sorry, not 12 hours. Really sorry. You can say for P3, 1 hour is the response SLA, and maybe 24 hours is the response SLA, or 12 hours, you can say. 24 is the, not the correct, 12 hours for P3. For P2, you can say 30 minutes is the response SLA, and 7 hours is the resolution SLA. Then for P1, so 15 minutes is the response SLA, and the 2 hours is the resolution SLA. This is how the priority is defined. Then you need to tell one more thing, sir. If it is a P3, P2, or P1, then we will not take care of this. We will just assign these tickets to major incident management team. To whom? Major incident management team, and they will take care of that. Okay. We will only work on P4 priority, which is a single user. Okay. Now you explain that you know about the priorities, you know about the incident management or major incident management, but you haven't worked on that, right? So interview will understand. Then you will, for the P4 priority, you have to initially diagnose this, correct? And then you need to uh, simply diagnose this. You need to take a remote session and you need to resolve the issues, right? Then there are some stages, status, right? There are some status of the tickets. You need to tell, sir, we have 6 or 7 status. One is like if the ticket is created in, newly ticket created, so it will be in the new state. If the ticket is assigned to any person, then this would be a this one. This would be a assign status. And if you start working on the tickets, this would be an in progress status. If you will, uh, uh, if there are some additional details are required in the tickets or users are not available, so you can hold the tickets, you can keep the tickets in pending status, right? And then you can follow the strike policy that we have discussed. And after, after the 3 strike policy, still user is not available, then you can simply resolve the issues or you can cancel that tickets. Okay. If the issue is resolved, then you can resolve the issues, and after user's confirmation, ticket will be automatically closed. Resolution is in your hand, closure is not in your hand. Okay. Ticket will be automatically closed once user will be satisfied. Clear? This is the entire life cycle of an incident. This is how you should take at least 2 or 3 minutes to explain these things. Okay. Interviewer will be impressed. Okay. Because in a single answer, you have explained about a lot of things. Incident management, service requests, access requests, you know, then categorization, prioritization, SLAs, response SLAs, right? That speaking, right? So here we were discussing on this, and so in the single, questions, you can explain that thoroughly that you have very good exposure on these incident management. And trust me, this is again, once you'll start working on, the organization, so you'll come to know like, Yes, these all things are, real and it's a practical one and which is, used in the organizations, right? Apart from the questions or answer which I have, given, they will not ask any cross questions. Okay. Yeah, in the escalations, you can simply say, sir, if I am not able to resolve any single issues, so I can simply, ask my manager to please to have a supports on this, and then we can resolve the issues. In bigger organizations, what they used to, follow the escalation, they have some functional escalations, they have some hierarchical escalations, right? Functional means the technical team who is responsible to resolve that issue. The team means the team engineers or their managers or their manager's manager, right? This is functional escalations. Hierarchical escalations or the management escalations means like you are directly, escalating this issue to the company's management, like till the CEO, I would say, vice president, CEO, till that level you can escalate that. You have the rights, right? Yeah. So this one is the things. Okay. This is the entire life cycle of an incident. Second,